Now I want to take you to another story. Sky News has obtained exclusive footage of mining magnate Gina Rinehart visiting the site of the Bondi Memorial this week. In these pictures, the Hancock Prospecting Executive Chairman can be seen laying flowers and standing beside close friend Susie Smead and Australian Jewish Association past President Dr. David Adler. In a statement to Sky News, Mrs. Rinehart said her visit had been deeply moving. Susie is a Holocaust survivor whose presence was a powerful reminder of where hatred can lead if it is not dealt with. The calm strength, dignity and resilience shown by the Jewish people in the face of such devastating grief was not only heartbreaking but inspiring. Mrs. Rinehart also exclusively outlined to Sky News a 3-point plan for real action the government needs to take now. She says, number one, taxpayer funding must come with strict enforceable conditions. Australians should not be forced to fund academia or media that are anti-Jew, spread hatred or incite violence. 2, groups recognised by overseas countries as terrorists should be recognised as terrorists here and not funded by our government. And 3, immigration should be significantly reduced. I have to say, all seem very sensible. Joining me live now on set is Dr. David Adler. David, thank you for your time. First of all, what was it like visiting the site with Mrs. Rinehart?
Carolyn, firstly, thank you for covering this so well. And Mrs. Rinehart reached out to me, which was in itself, I thought, a wonderful gesture, and said that she wanted to visit the Bondi Memorial. She flew down interstate for the specific purpose of making the visit. She came across as very sincere, very compassionate, very concerned, and really well-informed across the issues. So it was a privilege to escort her. When she stepped out of her car, she gave me a hug, and then we moved to the laying of the flowers.
And I'm sure she was very moved, especially, as she said in her statement, actually attending with a Holocaust survivor. Yeah. Can you talk us through what it was like for Susie and Gina Rinehart to see that, seeing that outpouring of support for the community and the site where the attack happened for themselves?
Susie is one of our most articulate Holocaust survivors. Obviously, it's a very ageing community, and she has given a speech before in which she has identified certain signs happening in Australia and the Western world which are reminiscent of Europe 1930s. So we need to take those sort of words and warning very seriously, and I think Susie is also a wonderful person who's contributed a great deal to Australia.
I met her at the Holocaust Survivors Reunion Lunch, which we hosted and reported on here at Sky News. She's amazing. Do you agree with Mrs. Rinehart's 3-point plan that I just spelled out for people there? I'm particularly interested in her calls for terror groups prescribed overseas to be designated here. I'm thinking Hizb ut-Tahrir is an obvious choice there.
Absolutely right. And let me point out that it costs zero to implement such measures. And Australia lags behind many countries, including some Arab Muslim countries, in prescribing certain terrorist groups. And the 2 big ones that are operating in Australia without restriction are Hizb ut-Tahrir and the Muslim Brotherhood. Both of those have been prescribed in many Arab Muslim countries, and it needs to be done urgently here. The reason is that when an organisation is prescribed, it's brought under the provisions of the Criminal Code Act, which means that giving it money or supporting in other ways becomes a potential criminal offence. So it has important consequences. Doesn't require special legislation, doesn't require money, it just needs
it should be fairly straightforward for the government to do. I don't know why it stopped for so long. Hopefully they'll take action now. David, I want to ask you about a new YouGov poll that was conducted for Sky News. It shows that 62% of voters say the federal government has badly handled this issue of Islamic extremism, and 58% say it's badly handled anti-Semitism. All of this is up on our website, so I urge people to read more there. But none of this will surprise you, I'm sure.
Well, it's actually reassuring that the poll suggests that a majority of Australians hold those views. And let me remind Sky News viewers that on the 8th of October, one day after the dreadful massacre by Hamas, we had Islamic hate preachers on the street celebrating in Western Sydney, saying it was a day of courage, etc. And on the 9th of October, we had that awful riot at the Opera House where we believe gas the Jews was said. Some say where's the Jews. There was also calls for intifada on the Opera House forecourt. And what was the reaction of our government? Nothing.
And the New South Wales Police investigated it and made a whole drama about which anti-Semitic phrase was uttered on the night. That was appalling. I want to quickly ask you about ALP National President Wayne Swan. Now, we told viewers last night he'd reposted this very offensive post, a tweet accusing grieving Jews of hypocrisy for booing the Prime Minister at the event on Sunday, but supporting Netanyahu, along with some blood libel about Israel murdering 70,000 innocent people in Gaza. We know, of course, not all of them are innocent. Many are Hamas terrorists, as Hamas itself has admitted. Now, Australia, Israel and Jewish Affairs Council Executive Director Colin Rubenstein has said Mr. Swan's sharing of this post was reprehensible and exactly the kind of inflammatory misinformation that has fed the anti-Semitism epidemic of the last 2 years. Very quickly, your thoughts on that post?
Well, I agree with those comments by Colin Rubenstein, and frankly, Wayne Swan needs to resign. Totally irresponsible, very destructive, and he's regarding all Jews as homogeneous politically. Some would support Netanyahu, some would oppose him. So it is just another ALP leader who's been involved in incitement. Very sad to see, and I hope that the internal Labor mechanisms will actually take some action.
Yeah, let's hope so. I thought it was shocking, and he doubled down on it again with Samantha Maiden at news.com, but there you go. Dr. David Adler, great to see you as always. Thanks for your time and sharing your personal reflections on that visit with Mrs. Rinehart.